We're going to compare the original G.I. Joe, the OG Rock and Roll, to the brand new G.I. Joe Classified Rock and Roll. And we'll go through the history and talk about the character. We're going to pit him against himself and, make a decision. What's better, the original or the new one? Gotta admit, in general, I'm probably going to be in favor of the old one because I was 8 when I played with this, and now I'm a middle-aged man, still playing with it. But I had better memories of the earlier ones. But occasionally, the G.I. Joe Classified team does go above and beyond, and they make something that's a little bit better. So let's compare them here. We got the original, and we got our friend Rock and Roll. Now, my memory of the characters, so I picked up this character right away. One of the first ones I ever got. And my real memory of Rock and Roll was from the comic book, right? And the comic book Rock and Roll was very cool. He was the guy that rode the Ram cycle. And, he had a rock and roll attitude. He was, a surfer boy, a bodybuilder. And he was just kind of fun, he just had a fun personality. I think with all of the G.I. Joe characters, we know them from either the figure itself or the cartoon or the comic book, or maybe a combo of all three. Like Snake Eyes was like nothing in the cartoon. He was a joke. In the comic book, he was the whole show, right? So for Rock and Roll, he's not the biggest character. He never gets that much of the limelight. So let's take a look at this new figure here and the box art. I like this new style box art that they have, some really interesting, murals in the background, and sometimes they're really cool. In this one, I don't know why there's a space shuttle in the background. I don't know what that has to do with Rock and Roll. It doesn't even look like the Defiant. So it just seems to be like a NASA space shuttle. Not really sure where they're going with that. She's got some tats. She's got nice tats. The original had no tats, so maybe that's a downgrade for the OG. We got to tat them up. The box art, and we could compare the box art to the original by Hector Garrido painting, but that's not fair because that's always going to win. Because that shit is unbelievably beautiful. When I was a kid and I saw that, I was like mind blown. And to this day, that the G.I. Joe box art is just some of the best packaging I've ever seen. So I mean, they're doing a fine job here. This is not one of their best. I do love that he's got metal hands. That's kind of amazing that he's like rocking the metal hands. That's pretty cool. He couldn't rock the metal hands back then. He can't rock any hands because his freaking thumbs broke off as they did back in the day, and so he can't really hold his weapon. Okay? He's in bad shape. You're gonna notice a lot of my action figures are in bad shape. That's because I didn't keep them in a box because I was 8. I played with the motherfuckers because that's what you're supposed to do with the toy. I don't know why some people insisted on, as kids, I don't know any kids who would put them in a package and keep them mint for, 40 years. And then they're like, ooh, I made $500. Yeah, you know what? You can also make $500 by getting a job. Let's take a look at the new guy. Let's wrap him up. I'm not going to buy an extra one because, whatever. I keep the boxes, but I'm going to play with this. I'm playing with this shit, right? Alright, so right off the bat, we've got a million ties, and he's looking pretty good. He's a handsome feller. I'm into it. I'm gonna free him from the box, and let's see. Wow. Okay, so this box art is very cool. He's got like. Looks like an album cover. He's got, tattooed up a skull on his hands. He's looking all California. I'm digging that. And we're taking a look at him. This is a great figure. I'm impressed. face sculpt is fantastic. He's just like tatted up, all up and down his arms. He's muscular, as he should be. This is kind of like a hybrid between the original here, which we see here, and the second Rock and Roll that always had those like massive ass handguns, like hand Gatling guns that no one could pick up, and he was kind of ripped too. And this guy looks a little bit like a hybrid. We got here, kind of awesome here. So we got here a helmet. That helmet's looking pretty good. It's got some nice details here on it. Hang 10 on the top, and we've got a strap. Put that on him. See what he looks like. Fits pretty well, and adds a bit. Yeah, he's looking more like a real soldier here. So we got here his metal hand, which you're gonna see that hand here's got a skull tat on it. It's pretty great. I like the metal hand. I don't know, you know, you gotta rock a whole, I don't know how a guy has to rock you know, heavy machine gun, and you know, he can only use one hand because he's always doing this. Maybe not that productive of a feature for the guy, but still, I'm loving it. It's a very cool idea, and this shows me this is them at their best here. This is when the folks at Hasbro are really just this character. This is just an upgrade from the original. It captures the spirit of the original, and I think with the first round of these G.I. Joe characters, the first wave, you know, they're iconic characters. We love them, but they do need a little bit of an upgrade. They came with very little. They looked the most military of all of the figures, as they, you know, it was much more straight up military lines before it became crazy colorful and everybody had a pet that would attack and kill, Cobra enemies. And so they kind of require a bit more of an upgrade, where you get some like Spirit and, you know, a Storm Shadow, and those things are just going to be, we just want you to give us exactly what we had when we were 8, 10, whatever. But this is dead on, captures the spirit of the character, upgrades it, sort of combines it with a few other versions. We're going to see he's got a pistol, looks pretty nice. Another hand. I don't even get what the hell this hand is supposed to. What is he supposed to be doing with that crap? What is that? Let's try it out. See. Now he's got no hands. He can't hold anything. So why would I want that? Oh, all right. It's bendable. Okay. So now he's got this other hand. It's just a fist. What is he like? Trying to rock on or something? Is that the idea? He's gonna rock on. I think the other one was enough. I didn't need this one. He's got to hold shit, man. He's a freaking soldier. He's gonna go into battle without a weapon. No. That I'm not feeling. A little walkie-talkie. That looks pretty nice. And put that on the back on his belt. Maybe you do. I don't know. That does not want to go in there. Okay. So now we got the heavy machine gun, and this thing looks pretty badass. And looks like what he had as an original, right? So it's got a nice feed here for the machine gun, bullets. I always used to like when I had one of these with the other figures, just use it to smack people with the belt. I don't know if anybody would ever do that in a real fight. Probably not, but it just feels good, you know. Fits in his hand kind of well. Trying to get it in his hand, and now he's got his machine gun. That's his main thing here. He's rocking it. He's Whoa. This is like one of their best figures ever, I think. And they pulled out a fantastic figure out of, you know, not one of the greatest characters. I've always had a lot of fondness for Rock and Roll, as he's one of the, you know, original. And he was one of the cooler original too. He had more of a character than a lot of them. And, you know, coming in with that, you know, Ram cycle, with that, you know, he had an attitude. But he's a fairly plain figure, and they just amped this guy up with the tattoos and the accessories and his look. It is one of their best, I think. I really love this figure. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with the classified here. That this one, the classified, wins, and the original. You know, well, iconic and thumbless. It's just, this is one of those rare occasions where they didn't just give us what we wanted, but they upgraded it and did it in a way that captures the spirit of the character perfectly, but also, you know, makes it him even better, makes him more of a character. You know, I think, if I had this guy, this version, he might have been higher up on the hierarchy for me of Joe's. It's great. So, if you enjoyed this, come back for more. We're going to rate some more, and tell me what you think. What's your rating?